I've enjoyed trying Made in the Abyss Binary Star Falling into Darkness recently. Unfortunately, it took me a bit to get to that point, and I think that feeling will hit anyone else trying it. Let's run through that a bit. While we talk, I'll be running some footage of the basic loop of the game in the background. The first part of the game that you need to go through, Hello Abyss, is a sort of tutorial. In this, you play as Rico and Reg in a portion of the original Made in the Abyss plotline through the survival training segment. I have some issues with this sequence. The first is that it's a poor recreation of the source material. It's clear that it tried to hit the relevant story beats and dialogue, but it all ended up feeling abbreviated and shallow. They just seem to be going through the motions. The places and people are there, but the dialogue system impedes the delivery, and the maps lack the grandeur of the scenes that they actually presented in the anime. If you're enough of a fan to buy this game, I find it unlikely that you'll be impressed by this sequence. The second, and really the bigger issue, is that it's not a real tutorial of how the bulk of the game works. Past the tutorial, the rest of the game, Deep in Abyss, is a story featuring a created main character that will interact with some existing and some new characters. During this portion, several systems not covered in the tutorial show up and completely change the experience. First, and often noted in reviews, is item durability. The tutorial gives you infinite item durability. This can give you the impression that you can hack and slash your way through creature encounters. This is not the case at all. Items have durability and are gone for good if that durability hits zero. If you attack every creature on the way through the first area, you're going to go through a couple of weapons. Combat is something you want to be avoiding unless you need materials from that creature. Resources are limited and creatures are dangerous. You want to save your tools for when they're needed. I actually like this element, as going toe to toe with creatures is not really part of the source material. It should not be at such disjoint with the tutorial. Next, there is level and talent tree system. During the tutorial, you'll see that Rico is level 5 on quest completion screens. She never gets any experience and her level doesn't change. She also doesn't have the talent tree screen at all, but she does have some of the abilities in it unlocked. This is not the case in the core game. You will be leveling and you will be unlocking talents. Your abilities with weapons, crafting, traveling can all get better. Even if it was a fixed series of upgrades you have to take in the tutorial, you'd think it would have been demonstrated. Next, the core loop of gameplay is missing. Gathering relics and lugging them back is something you'll be doing constantly. Relics are your primary source of levels and money. This loop of going out, gathering as much value as you can, and returning also pushes another crucial system, weight management. More on weight management in a moment. The tutorial sort of pays lip service to this by having the opening quest have you gather relics. These are not really inventory, and you get them automatically for each of the digging points you touch. After that point, you don't really deal with the relics. This loop would not be compatible with the source story, so it makes sense that they didn't include it there, but that just makes it more strange that they use that story as the tutorial. Lastly, as mentioned previously, weight management is not really emphasized in the tutorial. It's lightly touched on, but since you aren't gathering relics, using most of the types of tools, or replacing weapons, you don't use it like you're going to in the main game. Every unit of weight you bring with you is one you don't have to stuff relics in. Will you find enough materials to replace weapons on the go, or are you going to bring spares? Will you bring poison ranged weapons and the like, or will you only carry your melee tools? Will you carry extra food and recovery items, or will you have to make do with scavenging? These kind of decisions are important to the actual game, but again are not really taught in the tutorial. All of this said, I really like the way the core game turned out. I like that it's not an action game at heart. The source material emphasizes the high risks of trying to take the abyss head on. You need to be prepared. You need to be careful. You also need to profit. The core loop of setting up your kit, making the trek to where you want to gather, and making it out again really demonstrates that. These elements feel true to the source material. That sort of thing is crucial in a lasting game adaptation. It can't just be fan service. That's why, in addition to the missing mechanical elements, the tutorial story felt so bad. How many people gave up on this game already because the tutorial turned them off or gave them the wrong impression about the actual game? In the end, this is just what I think though. I hope you found it useful.